Good evening. As I see it, there are 5 points to this entire Obama issue. Let me elaborate briefly on each. Number one, while it is good that finally a minister from this government stood up and countered Barack Obama and tried to expose him for his plethora of lies and propaganda driven fake narrative, I'm afraid just mentioning that Obama bombed 6 Muslim nations doesn't make the rebuttal watertight. In fact, all it does is expose Obama's hypocrisy at best. And at worst, it doesn't address any of his selective propaganda driven lies. Remember, a hypocrite on his off day can also speak facts. So one must rebut him on those facts and not just expose him as a hypocrite also. Obama can counter by saying that he bombed nations irrespective of their religious affiliations for the greater good of saving their population from more misery. Obama's lies must be countered, therefore, on 4 levels. Number one, remember when Obama came visiting in 2015 and told us off snootily inside our own parliament about human rights and persecution of religious minorities, and president to prime minister down, we remained silent? This when during the Obama years there were 270,000 violent hate crimes in 2012 alone, just 1 year. But we remained silent as he waxed eloquent about violence and human rights and Christians under attack, even though that whole narrative turned out to be totally fake. All church attacks were thefts and arson and robberies and nothing to do with communal hate. And way more temples had been similarly attacked and vandalized, and more churches had been vandalized during the UPA than during the NDA. Besides, Obama had also based his propaganda, like so many others before him and after him, on a report by the Washington Post journalist Rana Ayub that falsely blamed Hindus and RSS affiliates for the rape of a nun, even though the perpetrators turned out to be Bangladeshi Muslim immigrants. So before coming to Obama's latest diatribe, we should have asked him about his lies back in 2015 and demanded an apology, but we let it go. And this only emboldens the liars and propagandists. A lesson not given is a lesson not learned. Number two, what does the data tell you? Since 2017, there have been more than 200 documented instances of hate crime attacks, lynchings, attempted lynchings by Muslim mobs on Hindus, Dalits and non-Dalits, including in Ranchi, where a Muslim mob segregated bus passengers based on their religion before wanting to set it on fire. Remember Bharat Yadav, who was lynched in Kashi after being called a kafir? In town after town, Hindus are on the run. In Madhopur, Muslim mob assaulted Dalit women as their procession was playing music while passing by a mosque. In Tonk, Muslim mob pelted stones, attacked a Gujjar marriage procession with sharp-edged weapons. In Barabanki, a 45-strong Muslim mob assaulted Hindu religious procession with sticks, injuring 10. So, this has been going on and on and on. Do I take more names? All right. In Aligarh, in Merma, in Jharkhand, Muslim mobs disrupted Hindu religious processions at multiple places on Ram Navami, did stone pelting. Muslims lay down in front of Hanuman Jayanti Shobha Yatra to halt it. Forgotten all these hundreds of attacks? Or vandalizing a temple in Delhi recently while chanting Allahu Akbar and Nara Takbir, or lynching Gangaram because he dared to file a police complaint when his daughter was abducted, or going on an arson and murderous rampage in Bangalore over alleged blasphemy by a Dalit, or breaking Ambedkar statue, running amok with swords, thrashing Dalit families after they objected to a Dalit girl, Sarita, being assaulted by a Muslim, or nearly lynching a Dalit, Jayanti Bhati, for daring to wear a Pathan suit, threatening to kill him if he wears it again. None of these instances elicit a response or outrage from the cottage industry of activists and journalists who only highlight incidents where Muslims are the victims. Force feeding beef, forced conversions, breaking temples, lynchings. The list is endless. Let me turn the situation around and expose this perfidious line of argument in a second. Let us say that the media only reports hate crime attacks on Hindus by Muslim mobs and carries on this selective reporting for 9 years. Only Muslim mob attacks on Hindus. I ask you, what will be your impression about India then? Yes, that only Hindus are being targeted by Muslims here, while the truth is that the hate crime attacks are on the exclusive preserve of any one particular religious community. No, they're not. See what I mean? Selectivity seeds propaganda. So, when the media ignores hundreds of Hindu victims of Muslim mob hate crimes, no wonder the agenda-driven leaders pick this up. And it is another matter that in this country a Dalit killed by a Muslim is considered a suicide, not murder. But if it was the other way around, it would not only be a murder of the victim, but also of democracy, of tolerance. This is how propagandists have twisted the narratives. While Jai Meme is unconditional, Jai Bhim is conditional upon the perpetrator not being a meme. We have seen this play out almost every day since 2014 by these gangrenous selectivists who claim they speak truth to power, but power to them is always Modi, even when hate crimes happen in non-BJP ruled states. And when the victim is a Hindu, the media starts to cover up the communal angle. So what qualifies as a communal hate crime, I ask you? Has it now been reduced to media's judgment? Killers didn't know the victim was a kafir? Or are you going to demarcate his ire into religion and non-religion components? Take the case of Palghar, the lynching. The ready identification of a saffron-clad sadhu is not enough. What if instead the victim was a skull cap wearing sherwani clad bearded Maulana brought out by the UP police and gifted to the lynchers with a BJP minister looking on? Would the media still have maintained it as a non-communal crime? Hell no. You cannot cure these propagandists. They are like the Rakt Beej. Their every drop of blood spawns more of the same. So we know who Akhlaq was. But do we know who was Banu? Or Khitaram Bhil? Or Savant Rathod? Or Vidu Jain? Or Ayub? Or Farooq? Or Bharat? By now, Indians have seen through this vicious propaganda, even though Obama may not have, or perhaps he doesn't want to. Number 3. Once rebutted on their shameless selectivity, these chauthi fails quickly turn to this new trope of mainstreaming of violence. And here they say the ruling dispensation is mainstreaming violence, but here again, the communal bigotry by politicians that I condemn across the board, and when it is done by every politician or leader cutting across party lines, these fake activists and usual suspects in the media only highlight the cases selectively. They never outrage on the BSP selecting as a candidate a man, Qureshi, who offered 51 crores to anyone who beheaded Charlie Hebdo journalists. Or when Mehbooba Mufti selects a rape accused as a candidate, or condoles the death of Wani the terrorist, or when the rape accused bishop is welcomed on the streets of Jalandhar by the church officials and believers, or when the ex-vice president presents an award to the PFI chief, or when the Congress MLA says he won't work for Dalits as they didn't vote for him, or when Congress Harish Rawat says those who kill a cow have no right to live in India, or when an SP legislator slaps a woman entering Haji Ali, or when Congress legislators demand hanging of Kamlesh Tiwari, or when Yasin Malik is celebrated by Manmohan Singh, or when Congress leader Nilai Kannan laments why Modi and Shah have not been killed yet, or when CM Stalin felicitates the man convicted in Rajiv Gandhi assassination, or when tens of thousands collect for funerals of terrorists, or when a sitting MLA Tahir Hussain leads a mob and says, quote, teach a lesson to these kafirs, unquote, or when sitting legislators go and pray at the grave of genocidal monster Aurangzeb, then it is not mainstreaming of violence. मैं करूं तो रास लीला, तुम करो तो कैरेक्टर ढीला. In 2013, 5 Dalits were raped every single day. Crime rate against Dalits in Kerala is higher than even the national figure according to NCRB. There was a 17% increase in crimes against Dalits under UPA 2. So the crime increased, but intolerance didn't. Was Manmohan Singh mainstreaming violence? Mainstreaming violence, you say. The essence of Azan, which is, quote, there is no God but Allah and no one has the right to be worshipped but Allah 4062. Amplified through the loudspeaker 5 times a day, whole year round near a temple, is not provocative. But celebrating Ram Navami and singing Bhajaman Ram Charan Sukhdai one day in a year near a mosque is? Or when Muslim leaders make incendiary Hindu-phobic speeches as we saw during the anti-CA illegal blockades. Modi ko maro, Shah ko maro, Hindu businesses boycott karo. These leaders and pretend intellectuals allow themselves to become dog whistlers. And a part of this magical mystery tour made up of motley crew of religious fanatics and Modi haters, including a photoshopping extremist hack who cautions Muslims to strategize and stay secular until they obtain majority. A deranged writer who thinks Rafale is an aircraft carrier. A washed up actor who blames Modi for the crimes of Mamata. A bigot stand-up who jokes on Godhra train burning but soils his pajamas when it comes to making fun of his own religion. A kitty party journalist who says she doesn't advocate Indian rule in Kashmir. A screechy radio jockey who demands equal rights for women as long as the women are not Muslim. Together, these fundamentalists proceed from one conference to next, one platform to another, spreading their hate and propaganda. You can't stop them. That is what they are meant to do. You can only expose them. Mainstreaming violence, sure. I wholeheartedly condemn Himanta Biswa Sarma for saying polytheists, Hindus are the worst of creatures 98.6. We will drive the disbelievers into a fire 456. Do not marry polytheists 2221. Refuge of a disbeliever is hell 973. Allah has readied a blaze for disbeliever 3364. Shame on you, Himanta. Number 4. Look, It is high time we talked of real discrimination. Tell me, is it discrimination against Muslims or against Hindus when Ram Navami, Hanuman Jayanti, Durga Puja processions, even Garba celebrations are attacked and stoned with impunity? Is it discrimination against Muslims or against Hindus when Muslims are shouting from mosques they will behead Nupur and all those who oppose Azan and Hijab? Or when Muslims are pouring onto streets demanding beheading of Kajal Hindustani? Or when Muslims are gathering in their tens of thousands for the funeral of terrorist Yaqub Memon? Or when Muslims are rioting in the streets because someone's Facebook post said Aurangzeb was a mass murderer? Is it discrimination against Muslims or against Hindus, Barack Obama, when a sitting Prime Minister says minorities have the first right to resources? Is it discrimination against Muslims, Barack Obama, when Kashmiri Hindus are forced to be refugees in their own land, where one can settle 40,000 Rohingya Muslims, but not 7 lakh Kashmiri Hindus, the land's original inhabitants? Where the judiciary says it is too late to prosecute those who raped, murdered, ethnically cleansed lakhs of Hindus? ये discrimination है. Is it discrimination against Muslims when Hindu temples are exclusively controlled by the state? When Hindus have to beg for Waqf land to celebrate their festival while government usurps hundreds of thousands of acres of temple land and is responsible for more than 100,000 temples losing lakhs of crores in rental income? Tell me, Barack Obama, is this discrimination against Muslims that the RTE Act discriminates only against Hindus and their schools, forcing tens of thousands of them to shut down? Is it discrimination against Muslims when a law was about to be enacted where only the Hindus would have been held guilty in a communal riot even if they were in a minority, for example, in Kashmir? Is it discrimination against Muslims when court judgments and legislative enactments purport to reform only Hindu religious practices but dare not touch practice of other religions? Is it discrimination against Muslims when the Places of Worship Act continues its barbarity and deny Hindus their legitimate right to correct historical injustices and reclaim thousands of demolished temples? Tell me, Barack Obama, is it discrimination against Muslims when the Waqf Act gives overarching powers to Muslims to declare a 1500-year-old temple in Tamil Nadu to be on Islamic land when Islam is only 1300 years old? So who is the real victim? Who? Finally, number 5. When people accuse Modi of not doing anything for minorities and being anti-minority, ignoring their plight, I laugh at the lack of intelligence and logic. अपनी रिपोर्ट कार्ड चेक करो, चौथी फेल नहीं, तुम तो तीसरी फेल हो भाई. Because the truth is the exact opposite. Fact is, Congress is a master at deception while the BJP is a disaster at perception. Here is the hard data. Minorities before 2014, 20,000 skill trained, 5% with government jobs, 3 crore scholarships, 70% girls school dropout rate. And minorities after 2014 when Modi took over, 2 million skill trained, 10% with government jobs, 5 crore scholarships, free UPSC coaching, 30% girls school dropout rate. In fact, Modi has given scholarships to more Muslims than Manmohan Singh did. Has Modi reduced AMU funding? No. In fact, he has increased it, including a 90 crore topping up. While our Muslim population is 14.2%, as many as 31.3% of homes under the Awas Yojana, 33% of funds under Kisan Samman Nidhi, and 36% beneficiaries under Mudra Yojana have been Muslims. Pradhan Mantri Shadi Shagun scheme exclusively for Muslim girls who complete their graduation before marriage. They will get rupees 51,000. Housing, skilling, scholarships, government jobs. No other Prime Minister has comparatively done more for Muslims than Modi. On the other hand, Barack Obama, let us look at conditions of Muslims in a state that has never been ruled by the BJP and whose present and past chief ministers have gone out of their way to appease Muslims. Bengal. In Bengal, Muslims are poorer than any other community, with their population growing twice the rate of Hindus. According to the periodic labor force survey, only 13% Bengali Muslims have regular salaried jobs. Figure for India is 22.1%. 35% Bengali Muslims work as casual laborers. Figure for India is 24%. Muslim in Bengal earn 27 to 40% lower than Muslims in the rest of India. Muslims make up 30% of Bengal population, but only 7% of all university and college teachers in Bengal are Muslims. And if you discount madrasas, the figure is even more minuscule. Literacy rate for Muslims is 7% lower than state average. This, after 40 years of non-BJP rule, non-Hindutva rule, non-fascist rule, after 40 years of rule by those who claim to work for Muslims. Another example of discrimination is the Disturbed Areas Act, where a Muslim is forced to live in a Muslim ghetto and not mix. And who brought in this as a law? Yes, the Congress. But look at Muslims in BJP ruled Gujarat. Their rural per capita income is higher than Hindus. They occupy same percentage of higher government posts as their population share. This is from a Sachar committee report. Their literacy rate is 6% higher than national average. Just 20 seconds. Muslims need to open their eyes and see Modi as a friend, not an enemy. Problem is, Hindus also need to open their eyes and see that they are being actively discriminated against all levels. So there you have it. I have now exposed Obama more than a drunk streaker did himself at Lord's. I hope better sense prevails and he sees the truth. But to do that, he'd have to stop reading New York Times and Washington Post. Would he do that? I doubt it. But then again, maybe he wants to read articles written by Modi in these newspapers. क्या करें बाबू भैया, सभी का घर शीशे का है.